as you've probably seen in some of my Instagram posts and Facebook posts, I've been busy building, my busy hands have been building these Midollino structures that are sort of these hanging pieces that are really kind of very curvilinear, very almost like an apparition, like something that's very, very transparent and very beautiful, I think. And I'd be able to suspend them here in my house here. Pretty soon, it's gonna be taking over the whole place. But anyway, I've had a lot of interest from a lot of the readers, Instagram readers, followers, on how these are made. And so I thought I would share that with you, the video with you. It's made out of Midollino, my favorite material. A lot of influences from Isamu Noguchi, the artist, Ruth Asawa, the artist as well. And of course, my favorite artist, George O'Keeffe. I think there's a lot of influence of all those artists, which is always apparent when we create, that there's a lot of influences. So let's just head on over to my studio so that I can show you how these are made. Okay, so here I am in my studio. To start out, I wanted to just sort of show you some of the materials that I need to use this particular project. And so the Midollino structures that I shared with you up in the main house was built with using primarily, the main product is Midollino sticks, which is a Smithers Oasis product, and they come in length like this, in a bundle such as this. I'm also going to be using actually the aluminum. Actually, this is a metallic wire, also by Smithers Oasis. I have U-glue, the roll, which is kind of leftover from, like, I really actually like the U-glue dashes, but I ran out. So I'm going to attempt to use this, and I've kind of learned how to manipulate this much better than I had before. I also have water in like a glass cube here, a bind wire roll, and then I have the scissors, which is actually titanium non-stick, which is best. But in this case, I still have to do a little treatment on it, and I'll share with you shortly. And then I have a plier and chalky scissors. So that's kind of what I'm starting to work with, and I'm just going to kind of get started first by showing you what the best way to actually connect Midollino together so you have it in longer length than what it comes like this. So what you're going to do is take the Midollino and take two of them, and how you're going to connect them. So this is something that I really actually learned over the last week or so, the best way to do this, because I had been using actually bullion wire, but now what I do is I use actually the metallic wire, because actually makes for a much finer finish. And so what I've done is cut a piece of the U-glue dash and then cutting it in half like this. And what I'm going to do is attach it to the end of the Midollino like that, so that it's there, and then another one, the other half, onto this. Now, like I say, before I used to use the bullion, but now I use the Midollino or the aluminum, the metallic wire, because it actually gives a much cleaner finish. That's one of the nice things about having the time to really experiment, is you can sort of end up finessing what's the best way instead of what's the quick, easy way right now. And so having tried different ways, I've learned that this is probably mechanically the cleanest way of finishing this seam, attaching the two pieces together so that the seam looks really clean. So I'm going to wrap this around and around so that it's a nice clean finish to this, the joining together of the two pieces of Midollino. So I'm going to go and finish it off so that it's just got a real nice clean finish to it. And then I'm going to take the choky scissors and then using the plier, just finish it off so it's nice and clean like this. So then at the other end, another piece of U-glue dash that actually the paper came off of. So I'm going to add another one. So again, in the same way, you attach those together so it's nice and tight bonding. And then I'm going to go in here again with the metallic wire. It just gives a real nice clean finish, which I like a lot better than the former bullion, which was easy, quick. It worked well. But you know, the reason why I ended up using this towards the end, and I saw the results were much better, the reason why was because I actually simply ran out of the silver bullion. And then I was using the color bullion, the copper, which showed up too much. And then I had to use the brown bullion, which showed up even more. And then I thought, oh, I wonder if I should just go ahead and use the metallic wire and see how it does. And I really like the result of this the best. I think it has a real beautiful finish. So I have a extended piece of Midollino that's 3 long. So that's a good start. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how to start the next phase, the start of the shape. So what we're going to do is start out with a circle. So I'm going to go and start by bringing this end of this into a tight circle. Make sure that the Midollino that you use for this is really strong. You know, make sure it's not one of the real weak ones, because it needs to bend and it needs to hold and it needs to be strong. So I'm going to go ahead and cut a piece of that U-glue again, cut it in half so that when I loop this together, that I have a nice seam started. And then I'm going to, again, with a metallic wire, seam that. So this roll is almost to the end, so I actually can use that spool to bring it through that loop. But in actuality, when you have a full roll, or much fuller roll, I should say, of the metallic wire, you're going to probably have to cut it into a piece so that you can thread through this really easily. So depending on the size of the roll you have, you'll have to decide whether you can work off the roll or not. So you're going to start out with this nice clean seam. And what I've done is actually made it so that the length, the greater length of this Midollino is going spiraling upwards like this. So now what I'm going to do after that is bring it around half round so that it's directly across from this one. And I'm going to put the other piece of U-glue onto there and wrap also nice and neat. Of course, the reason why we're doing this is we need the foundation of this structure, the very start, to be nice and strong. So that's the reason why we're actually doing it like sort of 2-ply. So it's two width of Midollino thick to start, so it's nice and strong. And it's also the base from which the whole structure builds, so this is really, really important. So you want to make sure that you do this right. And then I'm going to go all the way around again and seam it one more time where it meets the original spot where I started, so that it completes the circle right there. Just remember though, as you do this, you're building up like layers like this. Don't build it flat into a circle. Like what you want to do is build up so you can see it going up. So I'm just going to go wrap until it meets the 2 original pieces that were stacked on top of each other. And do a couple wraps over that.
and stop. And again, I'm going to take this plier and seam it. So this is kind of how it starts. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Oasis bind wire. And I've got them cut into a piece about 18 inches long. Fold it in half. And right over that, where the original, the 3-ply area that I just created, that spot, I'm going to run this right over that area so that there it's going upward like this. And I consistently in this structure, I'm going to do 1, 2, 3 twists. So it's a 3-twist system. I'm going to go ahead and take another one of these that I had pre-cut. And right over the, directly across, 180 degrees across, I'm going to actually put another one of these bind wire. And then I have actually 1, 2, 3, 4 more because I really want six pronged going forward. So what I'm going to do is between this one and that one, I'm going to put 2 placement and 2 placement. So you have six pieces of bind wire going upward. Okay, so now I have a good start. And meanwhile, I also have like length of Midollino extended this couple pieces that's already lengthened so that we have it ready to use. So I'm going to show you how it goes. So as I'm coming across, I'm bringing this over, right over that, sort of that crotch of that tie. And I'm going to twist 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And you're going to keep doing that, sort of going around in the same direction. And you can see how this is developing. You can see how that goes. So if I want to start to build out more, so in the next round, if I want to start to build out so that we want it to flare this way, then what I have to do is take, instead of this going straight upward, I actually tilt it so that that V is going out, flaring out, and then I actually let it be cradled outward. See how this starts to now flare out like that. So if I do this as well and bring that outward, then it starts to cradle out. So that was after 6 pieces of Midollino built up, and you can see the flare going out. But in continuing with that, this is 18 Midollinos. So that's just a very small partial bunch of Midollino. That's like 18 Midollinos are like this. And this is one of the things that I really love about a project like this is you take a bundle of Midollino and you maximize its potential by creating something that's rather large, but it's really about economy of means. What can you do to create something fabulous out of very few product? And so that's kind of what this project is all about. And it's really a lot of fun. This piece here took me maybe under 40 minutes. So you can imagine some of those long pieces that I made upstairs in the house. That was, each one of those maybe took me a half a day, 3/4 of a day. But it's a good project because it's one of those things that's visual. It's really a lot of fun to see things built up and see how fabulous it can be. That's what creativity is all about. And I hope that with these tips, you're able to create something that's wonderful for your next design. So if you enjoyed this video and got a lot out of it, make sure to like it, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe.